I guess Cher put off that that buzz in the background. She's upset at Mitt Romney for doing that. I'll talk more about that later. But Democrats taking another approach, threatening court packing, eliminating the filibuster, and igniting a second impeachment trial, all to delay the process. So which strategy will end up winning in the battle for that high court seat and ultimately the election? Here to debate, Democratic strategist and attorney, former chairman of the D.C. Democratic Party, Scott Bolden, and Trump campaign press communications director, Aaron Perini. Scott, for you first, what's the best strategy going forward now? I know about the outrage. We've heard that. But going forward, saying that this is the game, what do the Democrats do?
Well, Mitch McConnell has set the new rule. His hypocrisy speaks loud and clear, and the Democrats, I'll be honest with you, are just angry about it because they believe he is politically playing footsie with these Supreme Court nominees. That being said, the Democrats have to fight. There's too much at stake in regard to abortion as well as the Obamacare, and they're going to fight. Now, he may get this nomination through, obviously, but the reality is when you set that precedent, the Democrats are going to retaliate, and retaliating, given an election like this, where the Democrats are highly energized, they're going to be more energized over this judicial nomination fight. And then we're going to, if they take over the Senate, which they could because they're running strong in red and swing states, they're going to pack the court. It's nothing unconstitutional about that. I don't know about the filibuster. The impeachment piece, that just gets real complicated because we're 40 days away from an election. So I don't know if that's really going to happen.
Scott, they're not going to pack the court without getting rid of the filibuster. But Aaron, but
they got to get the majority in the Senate first.
True.
That's a challenge.
Right. Get the majority in the Senate, and then they have to get rid of the filibuster in order to do that. Aaron, so saying that, you could see how Democrats could be energized by this, but I saw that crowd last night with the president. They have been chanting in his last three events, fill that seat. How do you interpret that?
Well, for one thing, it's surely that the enthusiasm remains high behind President Trump and fulfilling his constitutional duty to put forth a strong judicial nominee. Joe Biden wouldn't even put out a list of potential judicial nominees. And I don't know when the Democrat Party decided to take this mafioso stance where they say, oh, well, if we don't get our way, then we're going to, we're going to feel real bad if something were to happen to your filibuster. And if we have to pack the Supreme Court and get rid of the Electoral College, I mean, that's not democracy. That's bullying, and that's not appropriate at all. Listen, the president's going to fulfill his constitutional duty here, put forth a strong nominee. Obviously, Republicans are unified behind this because they know who the president's going to pick from. Joe Biden won't even put a list forward because he knows they will be incredibly egregious people he would put forward that would try and upend and be super legislators from the bench. That's not what the American people want. The American people rebuked Democrats' bullying of Kavanaugh by expanding the majority in 2018 in the Senate.
Boy, I got to tell you, when you talk about bullying and you got a president like Donald Trump and you got Mitch McConnell, the Democrats are just responding to this negative political narrative and really the political gangsterism of the Republican Party. So it's really fresh, or rather rich, that my Republican colleague right there is talking about bullying. Democrats are responding to that negative narrative. Well, of course it's going to be political retaliation because the Republicans retaliate as well. None of it is really good. None of it's really good because it's pure partisanship. None of it's really good because it's pure partisanship. And I wish both parties could get along. But let me tell you something. Somebody on the Supreme Court, when you do this with a height of hypocrisy, you're going to get Democratic retaliation. It's a fact. It's just political warfare. And it'll be swift. No, it's a threat against the GOP. It'll be swift, direct, and painful for the Republicans when the Democrats retaliate. I guarantee you.
Well, Aaron, for example, I think both goals is for both parties is to get the Senate. I don't know if that, people, depending on who you talk to, it seems like the House is a longer shot for Republicans, but to get the Senate and get the White House. So, Scott, for you, why is the answer packing the court, throwing the filibuster away, adding states, as opposed to get the White House, get the Senate, and put your agenda together? Why change the rules of the game?
Well, because Mitch McConnell has changed the rules of the game. He had one set of rules to say delay in 2016 because of the campaign. But he didn't say let's fatten the court.
He didn't say
that at all.
He didn't say make American Samoa a state.
in 2020, he moved the goalpost again. And so the Democrats only have so many options. They don't have the votes in the Senate, so they're going to get this seat, I think, whether they impeach or do whatever the case might be. But there's got to be retaliation because of this great hypocrisy, and they've got to set forth their agenda. But it's going to happen. And the GOP, if they were in the same position as we are right now, the Democrats, they would do the same thing.
And so would the Democrats, I imagine, too. But, Aaron, just my last thought is, do you see it benefiting Republicans more to do this before November 3rd or after, being that even Scott, and with Mitt Romney aboard especially, even knows this vote's going to happen? What's better for Republicans?
What's better for the American people, honestly, is that the president and the Senate fulfill their constitutional duty. At this point, it's not unheard of to move a nominee within 30 days, within 40 days. So it's completely possible. Democrats are going to try. Oh, Scott, let me finish. Democrats are going to try and bully and put up roadblocks and tactics and stall and delay. They've tried to impeach this president once before. How about Democrats actually stand up and start fighting for the American people like President Trump did?
Unfortunately, that'll have to be the last thing.
He was the sitting president of the United States with your political hackery and that hoax. I mean, come on.
Scott Bolden, Aaron Perini, thanks so much. And Scott, thanks for writing that column, great column on FoxNews.com.
Thank you.
About the life of Justice Ginsburg and her impact. Appreciate it. Meanwhile, coming up straight.